It was late, well past midnight, when Sarah finally had a moment to herself. She had just finished cleaning up after a long day of work and wrangling her 7-year-old son, Ethan. The house was quiet now, save for the ticking clock in the living room and the occasional creak of the old wooden floors. She curled up on the couch with a cup of tea, ready to unwind. A sudden, sharp knock at the door shattered her calm. Sarah froze, her mug halfway to her lips. It was 12:15 a.m. No one ever visited her this late. Her heart began to race as she set the mug down and walked cautiously to the front door. Peering through the peephole, she saw a child standing on her porch. He couldn't have been older than 9 or 10. His hoodie was oversized and faded, the kind you'd find in a thrift store. His jeans were ripped, not in a trendy way, but like they had been worn down by time and neglect. "Who's there?" Sarah called out, her voice firmer than she felt. The boy didn't respond immediately. His head was tilted down, and the hood cast a shadow over his face. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he spoke. "I need to come in. Can you help me?" His voice was flat, devoid of emotion. Sarah's maternal instincts kicked in despite her unease. "Are you lost? Where are your parents?" "I need to come in," he repeated, this time louder, almost demanding. Something about his tone made her stomach churn. She reached for the chain lock, opening the door just a crack. "I can call someone for you. Just tell me what's wrong." The boy raised his head slowly, and Sarah gasped. His eyes, they weren't normal. They were completely black, like two voids staring back at her. No whites, no pupils, just darkness. She slammed the door shut, her hands trembling as she fumbled to relock it. From the other side of the door, the boy's voice grew louder, almost desperate. "Please let me in. I can't come in unless you invite me." Sarah stumbled backward, clutching her chest. Her mind raced. What kind of child talks like that? Why couldn't he come in without an invitation? She grabbed her phone and dialed 911, her voice shaking as she explained the situation. "Someone's at my door," she whispered, her voice barely audible over her pounding heart. "A child. But there's something wrong with him." The knocking stopped. The silence was deafening. Slowly, Sarah crept back toward the door and peeked through the peephole. The boy was gone. When the police arrived 15 minutes later, they found no sign of the child. No footprints in the frost-covered grass. No evidence anyone had been there. "Probably just a prank," the officer said, though his tone lacked conviction. Sarah didn't sleep that night. She couldn't shake the image of those black eyes. Over the next few weeks, she became hyper-vigilant, keeping every light in the house on, double-checking the locks, and ignoring every knock at the door after dark. But the worst part wasn't the memory of the encounter. It was the lingering feeling that the boy wasn't just a prankster or a lost child. He was something far more sinister, and she had a haunting suspicion he would come back. Some say the black-eyed children are omens of misfortune. Others believe they are creatures with dark, unexplainable motives. Sarah didn't know what they were, but one thing was certain. She would never open her door after midnight again.